Hi, Anoushka. Thank you so much for joining us at the Quint. How is it to be back in Mumbai?
Really lovely.
Yeah.
But it's really good to be back. I mean, even just kind of seeing the sea and seeing it just feels like I'm back.
Yeah. And congratulations on Love Letters.
Thank you.
I want to ask, love letters as such, I don't know if people write so many anymore. How did you come up with the whole concept? What does it mean to you?
It was just this idea that when we think of love, we just kind of think of that lovely beginning bit. And actually love is a really long journey that has all these different shades of beautiful, as intimacy grows between people, but also lots of difficult parts. And the songs actually just deal with so many different aspects that in a way I was just kind of ironically playing with the idea of love letters because people might assume they're all just really lovely, happy love songs. And they're not.
Do you remember when you wrote your own first love letter?
Oh, yes. Okay, so I don't remember it, but there's a story that I wrote my first love letter when I was 4.
4?
To my mum's best friend's son, who was 7 years older than me, who I could not speak in front of for years. He would show up and I would just
That's too cute.
So, I had crushes right from when I was really young as a kid. So my mum said she found a letter under my pillow.
So like you just said, one might think that the album is really happy and romantic and all flowers and rainbows, but in fact, this is a lot about your life and your struggles. And do you think putting your life out, your personal life out like that, does that make you feel a little scared, vulnerable? How do you feel about that?
What's so funny about making music is that the act of making it happens quite privately.
Right.
And then it sort of goes out there later. So there's a little bit of a remove. It's different to just talk to strangers about the most intimate things in our lives. And it's different to kind of write about it and have artistic interpretations about it. Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit of a remove still. And I find over the years, the longer I've been making music, I'm really enjoying being more and more vulnerable because I think that's also what speaks to people. As a listener, that's what speaks to me is when I hear an artist really be vulnerable. So I also try and be the same.
You've been vocal about a number of social issues, right? Be it with women's reproductive health or there is a lot happening in the country right now as well with artists coming together to sort of a small revolution. Do you think music itself could give some tangible growth to movements like these in general around the world?
Yeah, I think historically we can see that it has and can. Interestingly, my father was the one who kind of set the ball rolling with some stuff because he went to his friend George Harrison and talked about Bangladesh and how it was really hurting his heart to see all the refugees and their situation. So that's kind of what built into the Concert for Bangladesh, which is the very first benefit concert on record, which has gone on to raise millions and millions for refugees over the decades. And that's something that's continued on in so many different ways for so many causes, Live Aid obviously being one of the big ones, but also protest songs, protest music. I do think music has an important role to play and can help kind of carry a message sometimes when words can't.
So this is going to be a big year for you, 2020. This is your father's centenary. You're going to be performing with your sister. How are you feeling about all of that coming together? What are you looking forward to?
I don't know how it's going to feel when we do the shows. Yeah. I mean, it's been now 7 years since my father passed away. And so in some ways, that's a long time ago. In some ways, it's not a long time ago at all. So to do these concerts for him, I don't know whether it will feel difficult or beautiful or emotional or just about the shows. I have no idea what it'll be like. But from my side so far, it feels like a chance to really do something. It feels like an offering for me to really just do these really beautiful celebratory concerts and get together so many of his students and people that matter to him, people who've been influenced by him.
You've been in the industry for a long time now, and I'm sure there are lessons that you carry from him. What's the one thing that you always take with you?
I mean, I guess there's a lot, obviously, as far as what I've taken from my dad. But his work ethic was one of them. He had a really strong discipline and respect for his art and for his work. He always used to say that, but he said it didn't even matter if just one person or 10 people bought tickets in an audience. You had to play the full concert for them, with the same as if it was 2,000 people, each person matters. And so he had that real respect for his audience. And then the other thing I feel like I really learned was just his humility, the way he really saw art as a really endless spiritual process. And he was the person that everyone looked at as this ultimate musician, but he didn't see that he was at the top of anything. He just saw how much further he had to go. And for me, that just gave huge perspective, obviously, because it showed me how infinite it is.
And for you as a woman, as a female artist, do you think things have changed over the years for perhaps the newcomers?
I hope so. I mean, I've got to say, like, I'm a woman, but I was also my father's daughter. So whereas some doors may have been closed, a lot of doors opened, you know. So I had a better position than maybe women who didn't have that kind of a father present. So, so I think maybe other people might find that more difficult than I have. But I do feel like I'm seeing more and more women stepping into playing the sitar or instrumental music in general. And I find that really, really wonderful. But when people ask me about whether like Indian music or Indian classical music or music is a good place for women, I think we have to bring it back to like whether society on the whole is a good place for women, because how is music going to have perfectly equal opportunities if society doesn't? You know, it's much more about the kind of systematic opportunities being available.
Thank you so much for talking
to
us. Thank you.
Bye.